What's up, guys? It's TJ. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about Pokemon. I love Pokemon to death. I started playing Pokemon when I was, I guess, 5 or 6 years old. I remember learning words with it and just having an awesome time. Would play with my buddies on the weekend. I would bring cards in my backpack to school, and I got in trouble for it one time. And that was, it was a big part of my life. What it's really about is just being a kid and going on an adventure with these like cool, very charming creatures. And I know you guys know what it's about, but I'm kind of just setting the stage. And there's like this kind of like mystery behind it, right? Well, recently the Pokemon series has been kind of just chunking out games without really innovating a lot. And I think that's ironic considering the series is about evolving Pokemon, that they haven't really evolved as a series. And with Sword and Shield, excuse me, I felt that it's not like technically a bad game. If it was the only Pokemon game that ever existed and I played Sword and Shield, it would be fantastic. But because it is just reusing the same system over and over again, and the Zelda series has really innovated with Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey has innovated on the 3D Mario platformer, I just feel like it's getting stuck. And weirdly, I think the Pokemon designs in this most recent one are really cool. I think they're really endearing and awesome. But having to start on an adventure and getting the same kind of starters, having the same kind of combat, having the animations and character models and Pokemon models being the same, even though they talked about updating them. No, that was a whole stink. If you guys don't know about that, the Game Freak president said that they had invested a lot of money into like updating animations and Pokemon models so that they could continue on in the future, kind of building off of that animation, just to kind of refresh all the Pokemon designs and how they felt. And then in this game, not only do you not have access to all the Pokemon, which might technically not be a negative, you could get into that. Even though they don't have all the Pokemon, the animations are so stiff. They look plasticky and their faces, like a lot of the Pokemon, it looks like their faces are just like printed onto their heads. So like really lazy there. And then the wild area was cool in concept, but then you couldn't catch any of the really badass Pokemon. And you're like seeing them all the time, and then you're doing the same combat. And then they bring in, like they're trying to invite this 3D in, and it doesn't even have voice acting. And Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise on the planet. And so all of these corners that they've been cutting, while they've been making dozens upon dozens of these like spin-off titles like Pokemon Cafe on the phone. I've played handfuls of different ones on 3DS. They've made so much crap that if they just cut out like even half of the crap and just put all of that into making like a legit good Pokemon game that took a couple more risks, it would be so heartwarming. Because right now, Pokemon feels like the best franchise, the best brand that is being run into the ground by a really shitty business model. I'm not sure where it's coming from. I don't know if it's like the head or if it's like status quo or they're being controlled by investors. I don't know what all of the circumstances are, but all I know is that the core of what makes Pokemon good, similar to Sonic actually, I think, is so good, but the games have just declined in quality, or at the very least, they are just like barely making the games like passably okay in improvements to merit people buying them again. And then the fact that on top of that, they take stuff out of the games and they aren't adding a lot in, and then they add paid for DLC, it just feels so gross, man. It's like they're taking the most pure, awesome franchise that has this like childlike charm and wonder, and then they're taking it and like trying to turn it into even more money without even like innovating really in a lot of big ways. And it just sucks, because I would love to have a game where I can explore without boundaries, you know, climb up things. I know that let's even take the Breath of the Wild thing away, because in my brain I would just love a game like that. So let's just for a second, let's pretend that it doesn't have to be like Breath of the Wild, okay? We'll pretend for a second. At the very least, like, change up the combat. They've messed with that idea in different spin-offs and stuff, but it's always like half delivered. I would love a mainline Pokemon game where it's about catching Pokemon, you're on an adventure, but they just change it up a little bit. They got close with Sun and Moon. I know they took out HMs, and they also made it to where it wasn't technically gyms. I thought that was cool, but just they've taken half steps here and there, and if they would just consolidate their effort into like a single good game at a time, so they release every like 3 years instead of once every year and a half, and then maybe not put so much into their spin-offs, or just even a little bit less, just investing some more into their company. I'm not sure what exactly the number was, but I know that Game Freak's teams are very, very small, and the fact that they make so much money, I know is largely due to the fact that they have a lot of money generated from branding and merchandise. But with that money, if they could just invest like a tiny bit more, I feel like it would have such a huge impact if they were just willing to take a bit more of a risk. So yeah, that was kind of just a quick little off the top of the noggin talk about Pokemon. I absolutely love it, and I would love in the future for the series to continue to grow as I really have wanted it to for years. I will say that if you guys haven't seen the Pokemon Journeys anime, it's like if you have a complete remake of a series here, and then you have a sequel series or like a new season over here. It's like right there. So they introduce it like it's replacing the first show in a way, or it like mirrors it in a lot of key ways, trying to kind of like rekindle like the spark of what makes Pokemon cool to people who've been here for a while, and also why it's cool to people who are just now getting into the series with Sword and Shield. That is awesome. And I feel like if they would do that for the games, it would be incredible. Now there's a bigger focus on like catching multiple Pokemon with Pokemon Go. A lot of people, that's their kind of foray, their first foray into this franchise. So the fact that they were able to tie that in an endearing way, show more legendaries, you know, have these very cool, genuine interactions, and have like really funny dialogue, it felt very inspired and charming. And if we could just have a tiny bit of that enter the games, that would be splendid. But yeah, that's honestly a little bit further than I was wanting to go. And yeah, hope you guys have a... yeah, I'm not going to use any cuss words. You guys have an awesome day. See you later.